What was that actually? Recently, some strange wildness has been happening all over the world. People are filming things on their phones that no one has seen before. Unusual phenomena, mysterious footage, oddities that do not fit in the head. Today, we will analyze dozens of such cases. From a tornado of mosquitoes and rain of fish, to real fountains made of wood. Watch to the end and check how many times you will say out loud, "This cannot be." This story, honestly speaking, is more sad than spectacular. In the year 2023, a beach in the north of Japan turned out to be completely covered with thousands of sardines. Local media wrote that the dead fish stretched in a strip of more than a kilometer. Until now, there is no exact understanding of why this happened. Some assume that the school collided with unexpectedly cold water. Others that the fish got tired, escaping from predators. The picture looked as if it is a frame from an apocalyptic movie. But there is no answer to the question, why, yet. The Arabian Peninsula is already known for its colossal reserves of oil. But this video is like a live illustration for a textbook. A company of guys was driving through the desert and unexpectedly stumbled upon something very strange. Among the sands, a whole river of crude oil was flowing. It flowed along the sand as if it is ordinary water. It is unclear whether this was a natural leak or the result of human intervention, but the footage stunned everyone who saw it. They reported the find to the authorities, and the viewers were left with a simple impression. The riches of the region, it seems, do not even think of ending. This video was filmed already after a powerful natural incident, when water flooded large territories. Millions of spiders had to escape from the flood, moving higher and higher, onto the trunks and crowns of trees. As a result, they entwined the branches with dense webs, turning the trees into giant white cocoons. Locals were filming this spectacle on phones. It looked as if the forest was prepared for Halloween. The entire green massif turned out to be wrapped in a thick web. This is definitely not where one wants to end up during a walk. In Thailand, monkeys have long felt like full owners of the streets. But one day, everything went too far. During the COVID-19 pandemic in Labri, tourists almost disappeared, and that means the usual flow of food that they brought also disappeared. One day, because of one single small cup of yogurt, a real monkey fight began. Hundreds of animals ran to the food and arranged a mass heap. The video looks like a scene from a movie about urban jungles, where instead of people, there are monkeys fighting for every little piece. At first glance, it might seem that these are frames from a horror movie. Thick red blood flows from the trunk of a tree. But do not be in a hurry to get scared. This is the so-called bloodwood, which grows in some parts of Africa and tropical regions. The red liquid is merely sap. In its composition, there are many tannins which help the tree to defend itself and heal damages. When the bark is damaged, the sap flows out, forming bright red streaks, and then dries, sealing the wound. A natural self-taught doctor. The sky once literally stunned the residents of the Chinese city of Zhoushan. In the evening, it suddenly began to glow with a saturated red color, as if the whole sky flared up with a fire. The video instantly dispersed across social networks. People built the most different theories, from technogenic accidents to signs from above. Later, specialists explained, this is a rare combination of weather conditions and light from fishing vessels, whose searchlights illuminated low clouds. It seems everything is logical, but the feeling as if you are looking at frames of the end of the world does not go anywhere. This strange video was filmed back in the year 2012 in the area of St. John's in the Vale in the Lake District, England. In the frames is a rare phenomenon, which is called the Brocken spectre. This is an optical effect in which a person's own shadow is projected onto fog or clouds, seems huge, and is surrounded by a rainbow halo. In the clip, this shadow hovers over a small church in the valley. Science explained this phenomenon long ago, but many still see something almost sacred or mystical in it. And would you be scared if you saw your giant double in the sky? In winter in Alberta, Canada, one of the most unusual optical phenomena caught on camera occurred. The temperature dropped below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind drove snow in all directions. Due to the fact that the source of light was directed upwards, the combination of flying snow and lighting created an illusion that forced many viewers to scratch the back of their heads. The snow seemed to be moving against habitual logic, and the light seemed unrealistically strange. As a result, a spectacle similar to frames from a science fiction movie turned out. Several years ago, the small French town of Unx survived a very unusual raid. Residents were shocked by a sudden attack of thousands of moths, mainly the box tree moth. They were literally everywhere, sticking around windows, swarming around lanterns, flying into yards. Someone blamed street lighting, but before, nothing similar on such scales happened. What do you think could have caused such a crazy invasion? Fortunately, now everything is calm in the town. Among all the oddities that occur in the world, dust whirlwinds are a separate category. In one video, it is visible how a small whirlwind suddenly arises in a crowded place. It lifts dust, small trash into the air, and at the same time tears off and lifts people's clothes, forcing them to scatter. Although such dust devils are usually short-lived and relatively small, sometimes they grow to sizes at which it is better to stay as far away as possible. In this case, fortunately, no one was hurt, but the spectacle was impressive. We have already seen turkeys, deer, and ants spinning in a circle. But the list does not end there. In Baotou, China, a whole herd of sheep began to walk in perfect circles, and did this for 12 days in a row. At first, only a few animals walked in a circle, then dozens joined them, and then hundreds. It seemed as if they were participating in some mysterious sheep ritual. The owner of the farm did not understand what was happening. There were versions about diseases, disorientation, stressful conditions. But there is no exact answer until now. And the fact that such circular behavior is found in different species makes this riddle even stranger. This phenomenon is simultaneously both beautiful and a little creepy. In the Shale Creek Reserve, a woman filmed a rare picture on video. Real fire burning behind streams of a waterfall. Yes, you understood everything correctly. A real flame right behind falling water. This eternal candle is fueled by natural gas coming out of the rock. Science gives a clear explanation, but local residents more willingly believe legends. Some consider this an entrance to another world. Others are sure that forest spirits lit this fire many years ago to guard the land. And which version do you choose? This crazy video was filmed in the Taban Reserve in Lahad Datu, Sabah. In the frames is a real mud volcano at the moment of eruption. Instead of red-hot lava is thick gray mud, which bubbles, rises, and slowly flows out, like from a laboratory experiment. Unlike habitual fire volcanoes, here everything looks quiet. But in terms of power, the processes inside are no less serious. Such volcanoes arise when underground gases push a mixture of water, silt, and clay to the top. The result is such a boiling mud porridge. Admit it, it looks cool, does it not? Several years ago, residents of Manitoba woke up and realized something clearly went wrong. On one of the evenings, every source of light turned out to be covered with moths. Lanterns, the porch, car headlights, thousands of insects swarmed around everything. It seemed as if someone turned on the moth invasion mode. To go out onto the street, meant to immediately receive a swarm in the face. Yes, sometimes a surge in insect activity is a normal seasonal phenomenon. But then everything was on a completely different level. On one hand, the spectacle is impressive. On the other hand, it is definitely not what one wants to walk through on foot. This family clearly did not expect such a turn of events during a trip to the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa in approximately 1996. They parked the car by the beach and went for a short walk on the rocks. But upon returning, they saw that their automobile was captured by dozens of giant marine isopods. Those same ones that are also called giant wood lice or sea lice. These strange creatures were already crawling on the beach, but no one thought that they would decide to move into the car. It seemed cozy enough to them there. The family nevertheless reclaimed their car, but it certainly needed several serious washes after that. A guy was skating on a frozen lake high in the mountains when he noticed something strange out of the corner of his eye. Among the snowy peaks in the distance, a bright glow shone. Not a sun glare, not a reflection, but some other alien light spot. He took out a camera and began to film. Later, he posted the video on the network and asked people, "What was that?" The internet, as always, divided. Some decided that this is a rare natural optical phenomenon. Others began to speak about a portal or a door to another dimension. And what do you think? In one Brazilian town, people were genuinely frightened by a spooky spectacle. It seemed that spiders were falling from the sky. One day, hundreds of spiders were as if pouring from above, and the impression was created as if a real rain of spiders is going on. In the video, everything looked so unreal that many decided this is a montage or some camera bug. But everything turned out to be reality. Spiders wove very thin webs that are almost not visible, and the light from the sun fell at such an angle that a sensation was created as if the spiders themselves are hanging in the air. Scary, strange, but at the same time, an absolutely natural phenomenon. A group of people was walking through the forest and stumbled upon something very unusual. Right between the trees lay clouds. White cumulus masses were as if hanging at the level of human height. One guy even tried to catch a cloud with his hands, but of course, he did not manage to grasp it. This looked like a mixture of fog and a real cloud. Too dense for ordinary fog and too low for clouds. Most likely, a special combination of cold and warm air played a role here. But no one gave an exact answer, only guesses. How much money needs to be offered to you so that you voluntarily drink such water? In Texas, videos with blue rain recently spread across the network. On one recording, a man approaches a puddle by the road, and the water in it is really blue. This is not a reflection of the sky. Local residents were in shock from such a strange and rare phenomenon. No one could confidently say what exactly caused it. Some spoke about a chemical reaction, others blamed pollution. But one thing is obvious. For people, this became one of the strangest natural surprises in a long time. These impressive frames are filmed in Japan and show a rare natural phenomenon, the so-called liquefaction of soil. During an earthquake, underground waters are squeezed to the top, and the solid-looking ground literally turns into a liquid mass. In the video, it is visible how the soil waves and behaves as if it is not earth, but thick porridge. On one hand, it is mesmerizing to watch. On the other hand, it is very alarming, because the habitual firmness suddenly disappears under feet. A company of guys was walking through the forest and stumbled upon an incredible picture. Water was flowing from a cut tree right out of the trunk. At first, they did not believe their eyes, but coming closer, they saw a real natural fountain beating right out of the wood. Naturally, after the first shock, they did what any curious person would have done: washed their faces and even drank a little of this fresh water. It is lucky to be a witness of such moments, when nature, as if, shows secrets that are usually hidden. In these spooky frames is the Rimac River, flowing through Lima, the capital of Peru. Suddenly, its water became bright red. Local residents were in shock. This is the main source of water in the region, and here the river suddenly looks as if tons of blood were poured into it. At the same time, the authorities assured that the water is still safe for drinking. People had no understandable explanation, so rumors stretched out, from industrial pollution to curses. An official version that satisfied everyone never appeared, and from this, the frames seem even more sinister. In a quiet residential area, someone noticed a strange picture and managed to film everything. A group of turkeys was walking in a perfect circle, again and again going around one and the same trajectory. In the center of the circle, at the same time, lay one bird, almost not moving. The video got onto the internet, and it took off. Someone called this a bird cult. Someone joked about the end of the world and dark rituals. It is funny that outwardly, for the summoning of demons, everything was there, both the circle and the victim in the center. Only the demons themselves were missing. But alas, no one came. Now imagine, you are on a cruise liner in the middle of the ocean, admiring the sunset, and suddenly the sky begins to pour birds on you. On one of the liners, people first decided that this is snow, but having looked closely, they understood. Over the ship are hundreds of birds. They circled over the deck, flew into cabins, sat down everywhere, as if this is their ship. In the recording, it is audible how the operator irritably comments on what is happening, and he can be understood. Later, the captain announced over the loudspeaker that a storm is ahead, and the birds, most likely, took the huge ship for a safe shelter. It is difficult to blame them, but the spectacle in the ocean is, putting it mildly, unusual. In the state of Maharashtra, India, there's a place that locals call a section where gravity goes crazy. In one video, it is visible how a man spills water from a mountain, and instead of flowing down, the stream as if rises up the slope. It seems that the water violates all laws of physics. Many repeated this experiment, and the result was always the same. Some explain what is happening by strong ascending currents of wind. Others are sure that something mysterious acts there. Be that as it may, this is one of the strangest places in India. Several days after Storm Babe, which fell upon Mugdock in Scotland, a man was walking with his dog along a familiar path, and suddenly he noticed that the soil under his feet is moving. The forest floor rose and fell, as if making an inhale and exhale. It turned out that the wind during the storm was so strong that it lifted whole layers of soil where the roots of trees went not deep. As a result, part of the forest bedding began to walk like a tablecloth on a table. The man confessed, in his whole life, he has not seen anything similar, spooky and mesmerizing at the same time. Here is a spectacle that you will definitely not see every day. In the Murmansk region, a herd of reindeer turned into a real living cyclone. Hundreds of animals ran in a circle, forming a dense rotating mass, similar to a furry tornado. People observing this tried to understand why they do this. One of the versions, veterinarians with vaccines were nearby, and the animals sensed a threat. Such behavior is a method of defense. When the herd spins, it is more difficult for a predator to choose a concrete victim. It turns out, not only we are afraid of injections. Not only reindeer walk in circles. Similar behavior was seen in dolphins, elephants, sheep, and especially in army ants. These ants are blind and orient themselves by smell. Sometimes one of them makes a mistake and turns to the wrong place. The rest go after him along the left trail, and so a circle is formed. New participants constantly join the ant carousel, thinking that they are moving in the correct direction. As a result, a huge spiral is obtained, along which the ants walk until they die from fatigue. A small mistake, and everyone ends up in an endless loop, a grim but very visual metaphor. Not far from Mount Macedon in Australia, there's a place that locals call the anti-gravity hill. In the video, a girl places a bottle on the road, expecting that it will roll down the slope. But instead of this, the bottle slowly begins to move upwards. No one pushes the object. It is empty around, and an impression is created that gravity decided to make an exception. Skeptics explain everything with an optical illusion. Due to the peculiarities of the landscape, the eye incorrectly perceives the slope. But you must agree, when you see this with your own eyes, you want to believe in something more serious than simply a deception of vision. On one of the beaches of Iran, on the island of Hormuz, after a strong rain, the water by the shore suddenly became bright red. It seemed as if the sea itself turned into something from a horror movie. However, this phenomenon has a logical explanation. The soil on the island is very rich in iron oxide and has a saturated red shade. When the downpour passed, the water washed this soil into the sea, and the coastal strip became scarlet. It looks alarming, almost infernal, but in fact, this is just another trick of nature. Among the multitude of strange phenomena in the sky, this case from Canada is one of the most impressive. A man late in the evening went out for a walk and noticed a strange light above himself. He took out his phone and began to film. After a few seconds, the sky flared up with pillars of incredibly bright light, as if several vertical portals opened in the sky. Scientists say that these are merely light pillars, an effect of light reflection from ice crystals in the air. But many do not really believe in this. Someone sees signs in this. Someone, portals. And which camp do you belong to? In the year 2014, off the coast of King Island in Tasmania, a truly tragic event occurred. Hundreds of pilot whales piled onto the shore, and no one understood until the end why. This was one of the largest cases of mass beaching of whales in the history of this place. Rescuers did everything they could, tried to return the animals to the water, but the majority, unfortunately, died. Officially, they spoke about possible disorientation. Locals suspected the influence of sonars or underwater interference. One popular theory states, in the group, there might be one leading or sick whale who veers off course and goes closer to the shore, and the rest, being very cohesive and social, follow him to the end. Imagine you open the window in the morning, and in the sky there is not one, but two suns at once. Does it sound like a dream or science fiction? Exactly such a thing one man saw. He instantly grabbed his phone and began to film, because otherwise no one would have believed him. On the recording, one bright sun is visible, and a little higher is another glowing ball. People argued whether this is a rare optical illusion connected with the atmosphere or something far more unusual. How would you explain this? In another video, a man was walking through a park somewhere in Southeast Europe and noticed an oddity. A stream of water was literally pouring from the trunk of a tree. It looked as if a tap is hidden inside the trunk. Later, the video was shown to specialists, and they explained, strong rains overfilled the underground waters, and they found an exit through the hollow trunk. If we did not know the explanation and saw such a thing ourselves, many would decide that this is a clever montage work. In one viral video from Pune, India, people raised their heads to the sky and almost decided that an invasion of aliens had begun. Over the Moth River, huge dark funnels were twisting, exactly like tornadoes that descended from the sky. Everything looked so apocalyptic that many seriously thought, well, that is it. Here is the end of the world. But, to everyone's surprise, experts then explained, no aliens, no supernatural signs. These were gigantic swarms of mosquitoes, which people nicknamed mosquito tornadoes. Until now, no one really understands where suddenly there became so many of them and why they gathered in such spooky spirals. And what would you have thought having seen such a thing live? Write your first guess in the comments. This rare and incredibly beautiful phenomenon is called a sun candle, or subsun. And honestly, it looks truly fabulous. Everything happens like this. High in the atmosphere float tiny ice crystals. Sunlight is reflected from them at a certain angle, and in the sky appears a huge bright light pillar, like a vertical beam going away into the sky. It looks like a portal to another world. One can consider this a door to a parallel universe, and one can consider it simply a cunning optical effect. However you call it, the view takes the breath away and remains in the memory forever. Imagine, you're looking out the window, and hundreds of birds are literally falling from the sky in a residential area. Exactly this happened in Mexico. A flock of yellow-headed blackbirds was calmly flying across the sky, when suddenly hundreds of birds abruptly collapsed downwards, as if someone pulled them by invisible strings. Some managed to take off again, but many remained on the ground like that. There was neither a storm nor a strong wind, nothing that could explain what was happening. Someone assumed chemical pollution of the air, others that something mystical occurred. One of the specialists put forward a version. Possibly, a predator crashed into the flock, a hawk or a falcon, and the birds abruptly went downwards, avoiding the attack. But there is no exact answer until now. And from this, the video becomes only stranger. Let us transport ourselves to the year 2019, to the south of Russia. There, a real living storm of insects occurred. A huge swarm of locusts flew onto fields and farms and simply began to destroy everything in a row. Crops, grass, green fields. The insects swept away everything on their path. Farmers tried to defend themselves with nets, sprayed insecticides, but there was almost no use. The locust behaved as if the whole territory now belongs to it. It covered huge areas, and for people, it remained only to try to save what could still be saved. For some time, total chaos reigned there, until nature finally took a pause. Imagine, you're simply walking along the street under the rain, and suddenly fish begin to fall from the sky. Real, living, fluttering fish. Exactly this happened immediately in several places. People managed to film videos. Under pouring rain, fish fall from the sky and literally slap against the ground, as if that is how it should be. What is happening? Experts explain this with waterspouts, small tornadoes over bodies of water that can suck fish into themselves and throw them for tens of kilometers. When the spout dissipates, all this wealth simply falls from the sky. What do you think regarding today's videos? Write in the comments all your thoughts, and if you liked it and you want to see the next part, something similar, place likes, subscribe to the channel, and right now, watch the previous incredible episodes on our channel.